Alright guys, we're back with another epic history TV reaction. We're currently on World War One episode 3. This is 1916, the year 1916. And they've broken up into the years. Now, it seems like 1916 is where a lot of stuff is about to break down. I've done 1940 and 1915. Things seem like they're cooking up right now. Guys, of course, don't forget to check out some of epic history stuff. Check out our channel, check out their Patreon. I'll link it in the description of this video. But guys, I'm currently doing full episode bonus reactions of Married with Children currently on my Patreon.
Al, do you have to leave the refrigerator door open? I'm getting a draft.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should look for some food in the dishwasher.
You know, if a maniac broke in this house right now and shot me dead, Al wouldn't even know.
I'd know.
So if you guys want to support the channel and get a flashback from the past, from a Gen Z perspective especially, then consider checking out the Patreon. Link will be in the description. But guys, of course, smash the like button if you guys are excited for this one. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Let's go! I love these videos, man. So far, I've loved them. The glasses are on.
World War I was supposed to have been a short and glorious war. But by 19...
Yo, it's the sound effects, it's the slow-mo cameos in the back. Yo, these guys go ham on these videos. Let me just give a credit where it's due. Epic history, you guys are insane. But let me let the video play, man.
was supposed to have been a short and glorious war. But by 1916, a new kind of industrialized warfare had seen the death toll soar into the millions, with no end in sight. Naval blockades were beginning to cause shortages of food and fuel across Europe.
Crazy, man.
While thousands of women had entered the workforce, replacing the men sent to fight in their millions.
Wow, this is deep.
All sides were preparing for a long war.
Wow, it was supposed to end, but it didn't. War of attrition.
The war has raged for a year and a half as the Allies continue to battle the Central Powers, recently joined by Bulgaria. At sea, the British maintain their naval blockade of Germany, preventing the import of food and other vital raw materials.
Yeah, that's deep, man.
Germany has retaliated with a U-boat blockade of Britain, but has to limit its attacks to avoid provoking the neutral USA, whose citizens have already been caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, that was a mad
On
one.
the Western Front, French, British and Belgian troops are dug in opposite the Germans, both sides trapped in the bloody stalemate of trench warfare.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On the Eastern Front, the Russians have ended their long retreat and stabilized the line, but their army has suffered huge losses.
Wow.
On the Italian front, Italian troops have launched a series of costly, unsuccessful attacks against strong Austro-Hungarian defences.
Hungary are moving mad.
While on the Balkan front, the Central Powers have overrun Serbia, whose army is forced to make a bitter retreat through the Albanian mountains.
Wow.
Now, on the 5th of January, Austro-Hungarian troops attack Montenegro. They are delayed at the Battle of Mojkovac, but 3 weeks later, Montenegro is forced to surrender. On the Caucasus front, the Russians launch a surprise winter offensive against Ottoman Turkish forces. 6 weeks later, Russian troops occupy the city of Erzurum. In April, they capture the Black Sea port of Trebizond.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the British transport 2 motorboats to Lake Tanganyika in Africa.
This video is crazy.
They finally arrive after a 10,000-mile trip by sea and land, and help the British seize control of the strategic lake from local German forces.
Wow.
The same month, in German Cameroon, German troops besieged on Mora Mountain for 18 months finally surrender to the Allies. It marks the end of the Cameroon campaign.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, can I just say, like, it seemed like he just laid out the line, gave us a quick like overview of what's going on, like, and so much. There's not only is so much going on, but it's the fact that it's now it being like more of a thing of this is gonna be a short war now. This is something we're gonna have to get really prepared for because we're gonna be here for a while, and it's just so mad to see how this is just all progressing and how it's just becoming more global. And already at this point, the USA hasn't been involved, but when they get involved now, which I'm assuming they do at some point, I can imagine hell is gonna break loose, like even more hell, and so many people are dying already, and it seems like sieging countries, trying to reduce their supplies of food and all these imports is now becoming more of a thing, and it's getting deep. It's getting deeper than it's already deep. It's getting worse.
On the Western Front, the Germans unleash a devastating assault on the French fortress town of Verdun. German General Erich von Falkenhayn knows France will defend this symbolic town to the last man.
Wow.
His plan, in his own words, is to bleed France white in its defense. It is the strategy of attrition. Verdun becomes one of the most terrifying battles of the war.
Let me just make sure I know what attrition means. Because a reduction or decrease in numbers is a reduction or decrease in number, size, or strength. Okay, there's a war of attrition. So numbers are going to be lost. Okay, wow.
Verdun becomes one of the most terrifying battles of the war. A mincing machine, where infantry divisions are destroyed almost as fast as they can be fed into the line. In Britain, 1 million men have already volunteered for military service. But the government realizes it won't be enough. Britain becomes the last major power to introduce conscription. That spring, on the Western Front, British troops are the last to be issued with steel helmets. The nature of trench warfare produces a high proportion of head wounds. The German Stahlhelm, the French Adrian helmet, and the British Mark I steel helmet offer limited protection from shell splinters and shrapnel.
Wow.
Neutral Portugal has been cooperating with the British, which seems to offer the best chance of holding on to her African colony, Portuguese Angola. On the 9th of March, Germany retaliates by declaring war on Portugal. On the Eastern Front, Russia launches an attack near Lake Narok to relieve pressure on the French at Verdun, but it's a disaster. There are 100,000 Russian casualties, and the attack fails to divert any German troops from the fighting at Verdun. In Dublin, Irish Republicans launch an armed revolt against British rule. It becomes known as the Easter Rising, and is put down after 6 days of street fighting.
Okay, I mean that just seems like some internal warfare going on there, man. Like, okay, Ireland out here coming for the UK now. I mean for England. That's crazy.
6 days of street fighting.
The Arab Revolt. That's where the oil is, right? That's where the oil is.
In the Middle East, after a 5-month siege, British forces at Kut surrender. General Townsend leads 9,000 British and Indian soldiers into captivity. About half later die from starvation or disease. Britain wants Arab support in its fight against the Ottoman Empire, so it's promised Arab leaders an independent Arab state after the war.
Okay.
But now, Britain and France secretly sign the Sykes-Picot Agreement, planning after the war to divide the Middle East into British and French zones of control.
Oh, so they're lying now. Why, though? I don't understand. This is so political, man. Why? This is political stuff going on. I'm sure that doesn't end well.
Or to divide the Middle East into British and French zones of control. Unaware of this deal, Hussein bin Ali, Sharif of Mecca, leads the Arabs in revolt against Turkish Ottoman rule. In the Battle of Mecca, his forces seize control of the Holy City.
Okay.
On the Italian front, Austro-Hungarian forces launch a surprise attack at Asiago. Italian defences give way. Austro-Hungarian troops are poised to break through into northern Italy. That month in the North Sea, the German High Seas Fleet clashes with the British Grand Fleet at the Battle of Jutland. In the only major naval battle of the war, the British suffer heavier losses, but claim victory as the German fleet withdraws and does not re-emerge from its base for the rest of the war.
They went into hiding by the looks of it. The big push.
For the summer of 1916, the Allies have planned major simultaneous offensives against the Central Powers, from east and west. Now they are needed more than ever to relieve pressure on the French at Verdun and the Italians at Asiago.
Right. It's a tactical.
The Russians launch their attack first. On the Eastern Front, General Alexei Brusilov has carefully maintained the element of surprise. His troops break through the enemy lines, in some places advancing 60 miles and taking 200,000 prisoners.
Wow.
This brilliant, though costly Russian attack achieves its aim, as the Central Powers are forced to redeploy troops from other fronts to shore up the line.
Wow, tides are turning. Are they? I don't know.
At sea, British cruiser HMS Hampshire, en route to Russia, hits a mine and sinks off Orkney.
Damn.
Among the 650 dead is Britain's iconic Secretary of State for War, Lord Kitchener.
Wow, that's not good.
3 days later in the Adriatic, Italian troop ship Principe Umberto is sunk by a German submarine. It's the deadliest sinking of the war, with 1,900 lives lost.
Wow.
On the Western Front, Britain and France launched their major summer offensive, the Battle of the Somme. Hopes are high for a breakthrough, but the first day is a disaster. A long Allied artillery bombardment fails to knock out German defences, and waves of British infantry are cut down by machine gun fire as they advance into no man's land. In the space of a few hours, the British suffer 57,000 casualties, a third of them killed.
A few hours.
It's the worst day in the history of the British Army.
Wow.
But more attacks are ordered, and the battle will rage for another 5 months.
I can't believe, like, it's like, at what point, like, how do you withstand that level of war, man? Non-stop onslaught of slaughtering. Because back then, because the whole thing of, like, not having nuclear bombs at this time, right, meant that just this whole thing with guns is now more of a thing. And just the mentality of these soldiers going into war and being in war for so long, and then World War II comes. Jeez Louise, man. Like, I can't believe this, man. This is crazy. This is so mad.
Encouraged by the Russian advance, Romania joins the Allies. But despite an initially successful advance into Transylvania, Romania quickly faces a counter-offensive from German, Bulgarian and Austro-Hungarian forces.
Damn.
The Allied force at Salonika tries to support Romania by launching their own offensive towards Monastir. With
They must all be in communication, like, they must be, yeah, because I would have been interested to see if, like, how people would have been trying to tap into those communication lines and try and gain info on the others, because, you know, surely there's spies involved at this point as well.
Romania by launching their own offensive towards Monastir. With Serbian troops in the lead, there are small gains, but dogged Bulgarian resistance prevents a breakthrough.
Okay.
On the Western Front, General von Falkenhayn finally calls off the attack at Verdun.
Wow.
The French army has honoured their commander General Nivelle's promise. Ils ne passeront pas. They shall not pass.
Yeah, that was a personal
But victory comes at a terrible price. 365,000 casualties.
Wow.
The Germans lose almost as many. Verdun remains one of the bloodiest battles in human history.
It seems like 6 almost 700,000 people died in that war, specifically, and that's just a microcosm of the entire war that's going on. But that's a huge. That's the size of probably how many people that live in this borough that I'm in. That's crazy. No, that's crazy, man. More than one borough, even. Damn.
Battles in human history.
Human history as well.
For his defeat at Verdun, Falkenhayn is sacked, and Germany's heroes of the Eastern Front, von Hindenburg and Ludendorff, take command in the west.
Also, Germany,
meanwhile, the Battle of the Somme continues.
They wanted that
Near the village of Flers, the British introduce a new weapon they hope can break the deadlock of the trenches.
Okay.
It is called the tank.
Ooh.
But despite some small successes, the first tanks are too few in number and too prone to mechanical failure to make any real impact.
Comes in World War I.
On the Eastern Front,
but they weren't effective here. But this is the most seen introduction of tanks. That's cool. But even then, I can imagine how deadly and destructive these would have been.
To make
not at this point yet.
Any real impact.
By the sounds of it.
On the Eastern Front, Russia's Brusilov offensive comes to an end. Casualty estimates vary wildly, but it's clear both sides have suffered catastrophic losses. Neither the Russian nor the Austro-Hungarian army ever fully recovers. On the Italian front, heavy fighting rages throughout the autumn, as Italian forces make repeated, costly assaults against Austro-Hungarian positions along the Isonzo River. The Battle of the Somme comes to an end amid autumn rain and mud. The Allies have advanced 10 miles at the cost of 600,000 casualties. German losses are about 450,000. The Allies reassure themselves that this is a winning strategy, because at this rate, Germany will run out of men first.
Wow, so that's how it...
Meanwhile,
that was the mindset. So it's literally like, again, like people are literally just being thrown away like toys at this point. Like the mindset of, well, they're going to run out of humans before we do. Like, wow, we're just now numbers that can just be used. And yeah, 600,000 people died, but we made 10 miles progress. And they're going to that's so wild to me, man. How do you even survive during these times here, man?
That this is a winning strategy, because at this rate, Germany will run out of men first.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, disaster engulfs Romania as the country is overrun by the Central Powers. Romanian forces suffer 250,000 casualties. The remnants of its army take position alongside the Russians on the Eastern Front. That winter, Franz Joseph, Emperor of Austria since 1848, dies. He is succeeded by his son, Karl.
Okay.
In Britain, Prime Minister Herbert Asquith is forced from office and succeeded by David Lloyd George.
Okay.
While General Joffre is replaced as French Commander-in-Chief by General Nivelle, who promises victory through bold, aggressive action. Amid the comings and goings, US President Woodrow Wilson's attempts to mediate a peace settlement come to nothing.
Wow.
Neither side is willing to make concessions. Epic History TV relies on the support of fellow history lovers. So if you like what we do, please consider pledging anything from $1 per video.
Go support, the Epic History stuff, man. Because to put these kind of videos together, I know as a person who makes videos that are nowhere near as intricate as this, I know this is gonna take them probably months to do. So the fact that they put it all together, making sure that it's probably as historically accurate as possible, without, as well as so to make it this easy to digest. So encapsulate so much in it without compromising the history. I mean the context and all of that stuff. Look, what I'm trying to say is, go support them, man, because these videos are insane. It must take them so long to put together, and wow, like something that I can enjoy in 14 minutes. And for those of you guys watching, like honestly, yeah, man, support. Again, check out the links in the description. But wow, just what they had to say about what happened in 1916. So much went on, so many people died, and it's only been the space of a year. Like, if you were to add up all those numbers, like millions upon millions of people died within that year. I can't imagine the mental state of just, like, at that point, you're so used to murder and death and killings that you're just so desensitized to it in such a way that's so traumatizing, which makes sense why, you know, PTSD would be such a thing during these times. Of course, how could it not be? But guys, look, if you missed this point, comment on the red heart, just so I know who my real ones are. And of course, guys, I've been your boy JayFlex. It's been Epic History World War I 1916. And for those of you guys that made this point, you guys have been absolutely wonderful. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.